This is the host. Today's story is going to be a don't peek horror story. There once was a young woman who lived in an old Victorian house with her boyfriend. It was a large house with many rooms and many secrets. The couple had only been living there for a few months, but they were already beginning to feel the weight of the home's history pressing down on them. One night, while getting ready for bed, the woman noticed that her reflection was missing from the antique mirror in their bedroom. She assumed that it was because of a trick of the light and went about her nightly routine without giving it another thought. But every night for weeks after that, the same thing happened. She would get ready for bed and stare back at the mirror, expecting to see her own reflection, but instead she would see nothing. It wasn't just her either. Her boyfriend, too, would look into the mirror and find no reflection staring back. They tried everything to see their reflections, moving objects around, changing the lighting, even taking turns standing behind each other so that they could see their own image reflected in each other's eyes. But it was no use. The mirror was completely devoid of any reflection. One night, unable to take the mystery any longer, the woman decided that she needed answers. So she pulled out an old book on magic and the occult, one that she had found hidden in the attic, and began reading. She found a ritual that was supposed to reveal what was hidden. And so she and her boyfriend gathered the necessary items: candles, salt, a knife, and a bowl of water. They set up the ritual in front of the mirror and began to chant the words of power. Suddenly, the room grew cold, and the mirror began to steam up, as if someone had breathed on it. Then, slowly but surely, a face began to form. It was a ghastly sight. Pale and gaunt, with sunken eyes and a twisted smile. The couple screamed in terror and ran from the room, not stopping until they were safely out of the house. As dawn broke, they crept back inside and cautiously approached the mirror. The face was gone, but now they could see their reflections again. Relief flooded through them, and they vowed never to speak of what they had seen to anyone. But the next night, the face returned. And every night after that, it would appear, always the same, always terrifying. The couple tried everything to stop it from coming. Holy water, garlic, even locking the mirror with boards of wood, but nothing worked. The face always returned. One night, driven to desperation, the woman called upon the entity in the mirror, begging it to tell her what it wanted. And then she heard a voice, a raspy whisper that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. It told her that it was trapped in the mirror, unable to move on because it had unfinished business in the house. It begged the woman for help, promising that once its task was complete, it would leave the mirror and finally find peace. The woman agreed, and so began the search. With the help of the entity, she began exploring the house, looking for clues as to what the entity's unfinished business may be. In the basement, she found a box filled with old letters and diaries, and as she read through them, she uncovered a dark secret. The house had once belonged to a family who had been brutally murdered in their home. The killer was never caught, and the mystery remained unsolved. As she continued her investigation, she learned that the entity in the mirror was the spirit of the family's youngest daughter. She had been killed in the massacre, and her soul had become trapped in the house. With the help of the entity, the woman was able to piece together what had happened all those years ago. She found the bodies of the family buried in the backyard and with their remains. She held a funeral, giving them the proper burial they had been denied all those years ago. Finally, with the help of the woman, the entity was able to move on, finding peace at last. The ghost disappeared from the mirror, and the woman and her boyfriend were left alone in the silence. They never saw or heard the ghost again. But they knew that the house would forever be haunted by the tragedy that had occurred there so many years ago.